This week's episode of Monday Night Raw was certainly a historic one, with Roman Reigns announcing he's in remission and that he's back as a WWE Superstar. And then a blockbuster ending as Batista made his return to the company. The Animal made a shock appearance at the end of the show in a backstage segment where he ruined the planned Ric Flair 70th birthday celebration by attacking the Nature Boy himself, leaving him beating down on the floor. Triple H had hyped up Flair's appearance at the end of the show with several of his greatest rivals in the ring, but as the WWE Universe patiently awaited Flair's arrival, a backstage cameraman showed where he was, with Batista dragging the cameraman around, forcing him to show what he was up to. Batista pulled Flair across the floor before asking Triple H whether he had his attention now. But what were the real reasons for his return, and why did he attack his former mentor?
We told you that we could feel the whole hell was gonna break loose here tonight.
Don't tell me! Mamma mia! Mamma mia! Are you kidding me?
Surprise moment. One of the reasons that WWE had Batista appear on Raw was to create a surprise moment, something that the company is known for on the road to WrestleMania 35, with WWE often pulling out all the stops to help gain as much publicity as possible. Having an A-list movie star such as Batista, who has a major movie in Avengers Endgame coming out in a few months, is never going to be a bad idea, with his star power certainly bringing more eyeballs to the product. WWE saw what happened the last time they pre-announced a Batista return, and the negative response it got for his last full-time run with the company, so keeping it quiet was always going to be a better decision. Establish him as a heel. One of the big questions from fans is going to be, why did Batista attack Ric Flair? After he got such a positive reaction at the SmackDown 1000 show when Evolution reunited, it seems like a strange move to have him be a heel again, but Batista feels more comfortable that way. The fact is, Batista does his best work as a heel, and he's fantastic in that role, doing everything in his power to gain heat from the audience, and that is something he'll do throughout the road to WrestleMania. One way to guarantee that fans know he's a heel right now, from the start of his run with WWE, is to have him attack a living legend like Ric Flair, someone who's not fit enough to stand up for themselves, especially on his birthday, adding insult to injury. If WWE wants him to be a heel, then this was the perfect way to kickstart that, ensuring that nobody wants to cheer for him, even though he was a big name coming back to the company for the first time in a while. This is also why it was a good decision to have it take place backstage. Having the moment live in the ring would have ensured Batista a big pop, and it would have made it impossible for him to escape. With the ring packed with legends who would have wanted to protect Rick, and a round full of the active Raw roster, it is impossible to conceive that Batista could have done that and lived to tell the tale, so backstage attack was the right call, continuing their storyline. Batista and Triple H have had a long-running storyline, with the two careers being intertwined ever since their days in Evolution, all the way up until the recent SmackDown 1000 episode where the tension was teased in the ranks. On that day, it was actually Ric Flair of all people who was in the middle to calm the two men down, something that will likely be called back upon at some point during promos in the weeks to come. However, the two men have a known history with each other, and therefore, this is just the next page in that chapter, with WWE picking up where it left off, adding another exciting storyline to its product at such a busy time of the year. Set up a WrestleMania 35 match. Ultimately, the main reason for Batista's return was to set up what was an expected WrestleMania 35 match between him and his former friend, Triple H, which is something that the Animal has wanted for years. Batista has always stated in interviews that he wanted a WWE comeback following his previous run, and it seems like we're now going to get that on the road to WrestleMania, with him back as a heel, which is how he prefers to be. He has made it clear that his dream scenario would be to go one-on-one with Triple H on the grandest stage of them all, and it seems like this year, Vince McMahon is going to finally pull the trigger on making that happen. This would add a huge match to the WrestleMania card, which already has two impressive title bouts announced, with two wrestling legends and major pop culture names doing battle on the biggest show of the year. While it won't be the main event, it will certainly be one of the highly featured matches on the card, and having someone like Batista back for WrestleMania 35 is never going to be a bad thing. Now all that remains to be seen is how this feud will play out moving forward. What do you think about Batista's return? Let us know in the comment section below.